What up, guys, and welcome back to Thomas Reacts here on the 360 Experience with myself, Thomas Mabaso. It seems like the ANC National Chair, Gwede Mantashe, is back on the news after he said that South Africans are lazy, basically. He called them passive citizens. In his speech during the ANC Manifesto Review in Buffalo City, Gwede Mantashe said that one of the mistakes we have committed over the years is creating a passive society, people who cannot do anything for themselves, people who sit and wait for service delivery. Going into 2024, man, you would have thought that the ANC would be out there demonizing other political parties and demonizing all of these NGOs, but it seems like the citizens of this country are the target, man. Even the ANC top brass is sick and tired of South Africans trying to hold them accountable for this service delivery nonsense, man. Gwede Mantashe basically wants the South Africans to be like, Orania, man, I thought I told you guys that as South Africans, man, we need to start loving ourselves, because the day we start loving ourselves is the day we stop voting for these kind of people. Because how can someone who is in office complain about service delivery? So basically this guy wants to sit in his office to get a fat salary and not do anything. He wants to work for the government to get a fat salary from taxpayers' money and not do anything. Man, like even the ANC top brass is sick and tired of South Africans. And I wanted to do this video because I wanted to bash Gwede Mantashe for what he said, man. I wanted to rant to Gwede Mantashe about what he said, but it seems like, man, I'm gonna focus on you guys, because I thought I told you guys that you guys don't love yourselves. South Africans don't love themselves. You've been voting for the African National Congress throughout the years, and now the African National Congress is telling you that stop annoying us with this whole thing of service delivery, man. You need to stand up and start doing things for yourselves, man. You know what Gwede Mantashe said, man? I completely agree with him. As much as I was disagreeing with him earlier on, but now I agree with him. Because if you want the South Africans to do everything by themselves, you guys need to resign there at the African National Congress. Clearly, you guys cannot do your work. You want the people to stop complaining about service delivery, then you guys need to vacate the office so that people can do their own service delivery. It can't be that today South Africans are paying tax, heavy tax, and they don't even get service delivery, and they're expected to do nothing but shut their own mouths. These guys, man, these guys man, are sick, and man, these guys are sick. These guys are sick. I'm telling you, these guys are sick. I told you guys that as black people, man, in this country, we need to learn how Orania operates so that we can start taking care of our municipalities. The moment we start taking care of our municipalities and townships is the day we stop voting for these kind of people, because we're going to be like, okay, why are we doing this thing? Why are we out there collecting our own rubbish? Why are we out there and blocking our own sewages? Why are we paying these people for the job that we are doing ourselves? So the day South Africans start adopting how Orania does things is the day we stop voting for people like Gwede Mantashe. Because even Gwede Mantashe is sick and tired of South Africans, man. And I cannot blame him. I cannot blame him, because personally too, I'm sick and tired of South Africans, because South Africans have been voting for the African National Congress throughout the years. It doesn't matter what the ANC does to them. South Africans are loyal to the African National Congress, but it seems like now the African National Congress is sick and tired of South Africans telling them to to do something about this whole service delivery. Man, the national chair of the ANC is calling you guys lazy. You are sitting around and you are waiting for service delivery. You are sitting around and you are waiting for your grant. You are sitting around. You are waiting for your SASSA for your SASSA grant. That's what he's basically telling you. That we are sick and tired of hearing you people complain about service delivery. We just want to be the elites and draw fat salaries and do nothing for you guys. What is it so hard for you guys to understand that the African National Congress doesn't want to do anything? We don't want to work as the ANC. We just want to remain in our cushy offices, draw fat salaries, and do nothing for the citizens of this country, because the citizens of this country are lazy, man. They are lazy. They are lazy. That's what that's basically what Gwede Mantashe and the African National Congress is saying, that you guys are lazy, man. You are lazy. It is your job. Service delivery, it is your job. Stop holding government accountable for service delivery, because service delivery, it is your job. You need to pay me for doing nothing. I am Gwede Mantashe. I am the national chair of the African National Congress. I am Gwede Mantashe. I am the Minister of Mineral Resources. You need to pay me to do nothing. Man, South Africans are refusing to learn, but it seems like they are going to learn the hard way. You are going to learn the hard way, guys, that the African National Congress never loved you. You are going to learn, and you are going to learn the hard way. Because can you imagine, man, out of all the things that Gwede Mantashe could have said, out of all the excuses they have all the excuses in the world why South Africa is in the position that is in right now. But he's targeting the citizens. He's targeting the citizens. Man, I've always said that the ANC, man, the only way the ANC can learn from this whole thing is if the ANC loses the elections. The ANC needs to lose the elections so that they can recoup. Maybe they can go back to their own mandates and understand what is it that they have done wrong. But now, it seems like all of these guys are drunk with power. All of them, they are drunk with power. They don't want to do anything for you. Stop asking the ANC to do anything for you guys. Stop it. As much as these guys are running the country, you need to do your own service delivery. You need to pick up your own rubbish. You need to raise your own children. You need to find your own job. Stop holding these people accountable for not creating a conducive environment where businesses can come. You know that businesses don't want to invest in South Africa. You cannot hold the ANC accountable for that. That's what Gwede Mantashe is saying. And like I said, guys, earlier on, man, I wanted to disagree with Gwede Mantashe so much, but the South African voters, man, they frustrate me so much that I agree with Gwede Mantashe. You guys, you deserve these kind of words. You deserve them. You deserve them. South Africans, you deserve them. What Gwede Mantashe said to you guys, it is exactly what you deserve. I wish that he can do another speech and go harder on you guys. Because you don't want to learn. South Africans, they don't want to learn. They keep voting for the ANC, but they don't want to learn. They don't want to learn, man. Even the ANC is sick and tired of you guys.
The ANC's National Chair, Gwede Mantashe, is calling South Africans lazy people who sit and wait for service delivery. He blames this on what he calls a passive democracy that created passive citizens. Mantashe was speaking at the 2019 Manifesto Review in Buffalo City. So let's discuss this with political analyst Lukhona Mnguni. Good to have you with us this morning, Lukhona. What do you make of these statements made by Gwede Mantashe? Let me actually quote. He says, "One of the mistakes we have committed over the years is creating a passive society, people who cannot do anything for themselves, people who sit and wait for service delivery." What do you make of this?
Well, a very good morning, Tammy, and a good morning to our dear ENCA viewers. I mean, he is scapegoating citizens, first of all, and secondly, I think what he's also trying to do is to deflect attention from the African National Congress as the governing party insofar as taking responsibility for its multiple failures when it comes to delivering services to society.
Man, like, the African National Congress will never take any accountability for anything. You've heard the last time the Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, was talking about the ANC inherited a huge debt from apartheid government. You heard the president was telling the young people in this country that we don't have a capacity within the government, and that is the fault of apartheid. You also heard the Minister of Transport saying that our trains today are not moving around because the apartheid government stopped funding the ANC will never take accountability, man. The ANC will never take accountability. I want to disagree with Gwede Mantashe. I want to tell him what I think. But I feel like I need to tell you guys what I think about you guys who keep voting for the ANC. Like I said, guys, you deserve this. South Africans, you deserve this. This is the government that you chose. You deserve it. Elections have consequences. These are the consequences. You deserve every single thing that the ANC is doing to you. Because you simply refuse to listen. You refuse to listen, man. You look at the Eastern Cape. The Eastern Cape, man, is one of the poorest provinces in South Africa. But the ANC, man, they get a lot of vote from the Eastern Cape. So why would I sit around and waste my time watching Cutting Edge or watching one of these documentaries showing us how poor people live in the Eastern Cape? Why should I waste my time on these people who keep voting for the African National Congress? Why should we waste our time on people who keep voting for the African National Congress? We need to stop it, man. Like, if you vote for the African National Congress, you cannot cry because you have potholes. You cannot cry because the crime is rampant. You cannot cry because of service delivery. You cannot cry because children are still dying in pit toilets. Today, in 2023, children are still dying in pit toilets under the ANC government. And how many times have you guys voted for the ANC throughout the years? How many times? So you deserve this treatment, man. I'm washing my hands. Just like Pilato there in the Bible, man. I'm washing my hands. I agree with Gwede Mantashe. You guys deserve everything that you are getting from the ANC. You are lazy. You are passive citizens. You sit around and you wait for service delivery. You don't want to look for work. You sit around and hope the African National Congress does something for you so that you can work. You will never work. You will never work. Businesses, they don't want to invest in South Africa. The jobs are not coming. No one is talking about the jobs. Because why? The jobs are not coming. You can see the ANC Youth League is all over the place. Last week they were there marching against Chris Papas and on the same week they were there fighting to regulate the spaza shops. They are all over the place. They don't want to face the whole thing of unemployment because they know that jobs are not coming. So they might as well start up drama all over the country so that it can look like they are doing something, but they are not doing anything. You can see how the ANC Youth League goes around, man. These guys are going around nonsense. Like, even right now, man, Gwede Mantashe was talking about the same thing of the African National Congress Youth League. You remember the ANC Youth League said that they are going to push for the ANC to put 50% of young people in parliament, and Gwede Mantashe said that is never going to happen. Gwede Mantashe, man, believes that South Africans deserve all of these crannies, all of these incompetent crannies, and I honestly believe him, and I completely agree with him. South Africans, they don't want to learn, man. They don't want to learn. It can't be that, guys, every single day we are here on these various platforms trying to tell you guys that stop voting for these people. These people are fucking everything up. But you guys continue. You go out there and you continue voting for the African National Congress. Even for those ones who say, no, I'm not an ANC voter. If you're not an ANC voter, what is it are you doing to make sure that the ANC will not be in power in 2024? Don't go around telling people that you will never vote for the ANC. If you don't vote for the ANC, make sure that you mobilize people who are going to vote out to the ANC in 2024. If you haven't done that, then I don't want to hear anything from you. Even if you want to come and start saying, no, I hate ANC, I'm one of those guys who hate ANC, I will never vote for the ANC. But the question is, what are you doing to make sure that the ANC will not be in power in 2024? What are you doing? So he's scapegoating the people. I believe him because the people have voted for them. Despite the fact that these guys are completely ignorant and completely incompetent. These guys are incompetent. Like, that is the least way to put it. These guys are incompetent. And you guys keep voting for them. So you deserve this. You deserve the national chair of the ANC telling you guys that you are lazy. You are sitting around. If you are unemployed, like, it is your fault that you are unemployed. If your township has turned into an illegal dumping, it is your fault. Because you voted for the ANC throughout the years. Time and time again, you keep voting for the ANC. And now the ANC is telling you, stop bothering us about service delivery. I honestly agree with him, man. I agree. I'm sick and tired, man, of South Africans, man. I'm telling you.
I mean, Tammy, we've got to be very careful on some of these things. So when you say people are just waiting for government to deliver services, the Constitution enjoins government to ensure that citizens have access and utility of certain socio-economic rights.
Man, that's the thing, man. These guys, they simply want to sit in their air-conditioned offices, draw fat salaries, and do nothing. What is it? What is so hard for you guys to understand that? I just want to sit in my air conditioner office, draw a fat salary, and do nothing. That's what they want. That's what they want, man. I told him, man, I remember, man, like I've got a huge backlash when I did those 2 videos about Orania, because I was trying to warn people, man. I was trying to make you guys see that, like, everything it's in our hands. Everything is in our hands, man. Do you think that the ANC will ever fly in Orania, man? It will never fly in Orania, because the people of Orania are doing everything by themselves. And I was saying that as the citizens of South Africa, we need to start doing everything for ourselves. The day we start doing everything for ourselves is the day we'll stop voting for guys like Gwede Mantashe. But we don't want to listen. People simply want to focus on the fact that Orania, you won't go in Orania. That's what they want to focus on. Those guys in Orania, they are racist. That is the only thing that people are focusing on. But this is exactly the same thing that I was trying to avoid. That it was only a matter of time before these guys start blaming the citizens. It was only a matter of time.
So the rights to water, the rights to healthcare, the rights to basic education, and of course for children, it goes even further. I mean, the rights to shelter and secure homes and all of these things. For other people, I mean, the right to reproductive health. So when people make those demands, you cannot then say it's because they are passive. It's because, well, one government has failed to create an environment where the economy is growing and it gives decent work to people with fair wages that are not minimum wages but are living wages, and people then can be able to be self-sufficient and self-reliant insofar as those things are concerned. So to then put the blame at the doorstep of saying they created a passive citizenry. Of course, on the other hand, I mean, just lastly on this point, there has been a bit of a discussion that there has been demobilization of society since 1994, where society does become quite passive in the sense that it has lost its political agency. Its political agency to awaken when the government, the political landscape. So I think yes, there is that kind of sense of being a passive society insofar as political agency is concerned, but insofar as demanding socio-economic rights from the government, that's pure state failure, and that's pure government failure in particular.
Man, I don't want to talk about how the ANC has failed South Africans. I mean, I think for now we've made enough videos trying to show South Africans that the ANC has failed. But South Africans still refused to see that the ANC has failed. Now the ANC is blaming them for all of these problems that are happening in South Africa. The ANC is blaming you guys. It is your fault that the crime is so rife right now in South Africa. It is your fault that we don't have borders in this country. It is your fault that your children are being fed drugs. It is your fault because you keep voting for these guys who don't care about you. And these guys who don't care about you now, they've got the balls to tell you right in your face that you guys are lazy. You sit around and wait for the government to do everything for you. It is your fault.
Is this then an admission by Gwede Mantashe that the ANC has failed to provide these to society? Because ultimately, that's why there are election promises. During an election year, when you are campaigning, you say to the citizens of the country, I will do this for you if you do this for me. So if now Gwede Mantashe is saying that the ANC made a mistake by allowing people to not do things for themselves because they promised that they would do it for the people, is that an admission of failure? What do you make of it?
Well, of course, it must be seen as an admission of failure in some ways, but it must also be seen at the same time as an attempt to protect the ANC from criticism. It is an admission of failure insofar as, this is a manifesto review, Tammy, and of course, I have asked the question of, the idea of a manifesto review that is conducted through Stadia, because the citizens or the voters and supporters of the ANC don't appear to be given an opportunity to review the manifesto from their perspective and tell the leadership exactly how they feel about, the road between 2019 and where we are. If you remember, Tammy, the 2019 manifesto of the ANC opened with an admission that things had gone wrong, mistakes had been made, and therefore now they would set on a new course. The question then, if you are doing a manifesto review, is those mistakes that were acknowledged, largely related to the then years of President Zuma, and under the, tutelage of state capture, how far has the African National Congress in government managed to arrest the scourge of corruption, managed to arrest the scourge of lawlessness amongst public servants and then those who are deployed as public representatives in the various legislatures? And then you go forward and then say, well, in that sense of an admission of guilt, in that sense of admission of failure in government, what is it that they are promising to do and do anew for citizens? So those are the things that, for me, I think are very important. But yes, I do think that in government, the ANC has not done so well, and all the metrics are there, from unemployment to poverty to the destitution of people. The metrics show that there has been a failure of government.
But guess what? In 2024, people are still going to vote for the ANC. In 2024, people are still going to vote for the ANC because the ANC is still popular, man. Whatever that you can say about the ANC, but the fact remains is that the ANC is still popular in South Africa. Whether you like it or not, you can see these guys, when they do these manifesto reviews, man, they go to the stadiums, and the stadiums are packed. Right now, these guys, they were in Bloemfontein. Yeah, I think the ANC was doing the manifesto review in Bloemfontein, and the stadium was packed. The ANC was also doing a manifesto review in KZN. Man, the stadium was packed. They were also doing a manifesto review in Eastern Cape. There were a lot of people there. So no matter what you say, man, the ANC, man, is still popular in South Africa. So this is the reason why I say maybe, guys, maybe, just maybe, we need to stop focusing on the ANC and we need to start looking at these people who keep voting for the African National Congress. And we need to stop, and we need to also look at these people who don't even want to vote in our country. Because I think that at this point that we need to address those. We need to address the voters of the ANC, and we need to address people in our country who don't even want to participate in our elections. We need to address those, because with the ANC, man, there's nothing that we can say about the ANC. The ANC has failed. All of us know it. The ANC has failed on every aspect. Like he said, man, look at unemployment, look at crime, look at service delivery, you can look at our healthcare, you can look at our education system, you can look at our infrastructure. They have failed on every aspect, but they are still popular in South Africa. So what is it that we are going to do? What is it that people who are sophisticated are going to do going into 2024 to make sure that the African National Congress is no longer in charge? Because I know it's fun to blame the ANC for everything. It's nice. I can sit here and blame the African National Congress for everything, man. I can go through the videos and blame African National Congress on everything. But when are we going to address these people who keep voting for the ANC? And when are we going to address these people who simply enjoy sitting at home and complaining on social media about how bad things are in the country, but they don't want to participate in anything that has to do with politics? Man, we need to address that. We need to address that. So if you know that you haven't mobilized going into 2024, then you haven't done anything. You don't have a right to complain about the African National Congress if you haven't mobilized by now. Like I said, I'm expecting each and every one of you to have mobilized at least 5 people who didn't vote in 2019 going into 2024. I need one person to mobilize 5 people who didn't vote in 2019. Then maybe I can say, yeah, you guys are doing something, because I'm also doing the same. I'm going to make sure that going into 2024, I'm going to have like 10 of my friends and families, especially the ones who didn't vote in 2019, to make sure that, okay, we don't vote for this party. So if you haven't done that, then you don't have a right to complain. You don't have a right to complain about the ANC, man. I'm sick and tired of complaining about the ANC. Right now, I'm sick and tired of these people who keep voting for the ANC, and I'm sick and tired of these people who don't want to participate in anything in our country, man. These people, they would rather sit at home and watch a skim sum while our country is going to the dogs. South Africa, man, is going down, man. Like, we are on a free fall right now. We are on a free fall, and it looks like it's not urgent enough for South Africans. And we are on a free fall, man. Things are about to be worse in South Africa, I'm telling you. I'm sorry, guys, for that. I have a terrible flu, man. I have a terrible flu. I've been battling with this flu the whole weekend. This is the reason why I didn't upload anything on weekend, is because, man, I had this terrible flu. But today, at least, I can speak a bit. This is the reason why I'm here with you guys.
It looks like there is a change of strategy, Lukhona, a change of rhetoric here. But tell me if there is alignment as well. You'll hear the SACP, they are against the austerity measures. We understand and we know that austerity measures obviously mean that, no more, infrastructure development. That's going to be cut down. We know that it means, no more hiring. Posts are going to be, cut down. So that in itself creates an environment where people cannot really thrive. It creates an environment where there is a decline in jobs and decline in employment. How does one align those type of statements where you're saying that South Africans are passive, that they are lazy, and yet you are also putting together, the type of policies that are not going to empower South Africans to be able to do anything?
Guys, I don't know, man. Please tell me what you think, man. Am I right for blaming South Africans, man? Am I right now for going insane on these ANC voters and for going insane on people who are not even doing enough, man? If you haven't been doing enough, you haven't been doing enough. You haven't been doing enough. Before you mobilize people, man, before you convince the people who don't want to do anything with our elections to go out there and vote, man, you haven't done anything. It is not only the job of your favorite political party to make sure that the ANC is no longer in charge in 2024. It is not only the job of your favorite political party, but it is your job too. It is your job too.
Well, Tammy, this is where some people have been suggesting that perhaps from a policy point of view, there's no longer new ideas that are coming to inspire, a growth trajectory for the economy, to inspire a sense of, giving people implements and tools for them to conduct their own local economies, to regulate local economies in a way that ensures that, South Africans and ordinary people have a fighting chance. I mean, you just look at how these so-called passive citizens who try and earn an honest living through the informal economy are harassed by metro police. Instead of being helped to be compliant, their goods are confiscated, even if they are not illicit goods, even if they are not counterfeit goods. These goods are actually, confiscated, and people are disempowered from actually realizing that agency they have for their own economic development. So it is quite an insult, in actual fact, I think, to suggest that these citizens are passive when on a daily basis, Tammy, with the kind of unemployment that we have and with the kind of poverty levels that we have, people are still not dying from hunger in scores. It tells you then that there is work that people do to try and have a fighting chance in life, to try and perhaps maybe substitute their labor for generating a livelihood, and in very difficult and trying circumstances.
I wonder, Lukhona, the view that Gwede Mantashe put forward in Buffalo City, is that a personal view, or is that the stance of the governing party? I didn't quite hear Fikile Mbalula when he was speaking in KZN. He was focusing more, I guess, on the increase in social grants. Is this a uniform line throughout the party, or something do you believe that's individual to Gwede Mantashe?
Well, I think the party itself has not really firmed up what its position is going to be and how it electioneers towards the 2024 elections. they are aware that there's massive resistance from society and that there is high possibility for them to lose power in certain provinces, particularly such as KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. It might be more secure in the Eastern Cape. But I think, one, there is a strand that says the ANC has a good story to tell, and that's what they have in actual fact been going with as a sort of a campaign strategy towards 2024. But secondly, I think there is this tension and there is this perception that they are getting from society that says, but you are to blame. And then they are probably trying to turn around that kind of messaging to say, but no, we are not the only ones at fault, but you are also the passive citizens who are actually clearly not doing enough. But however, Tammy, the reason there are governments is because there has to be service delivery. That service delivery has to create an enabling environment for economic, activity, economic participation.
But like they haven't done all of that. They haven't done all of these things that Lukhona is talking about. And it's not like we only discovered in 2023 that the ANC hasn't been doing enough for service delivery. It's not like we found in 2023 that South Africa has a high number of unemployment rate. Man, all of these problems that we are going with in 2024, we've had these problems in 2019, we've had these problems in 2014. All of these problems, we've had them before. But South Africans, they went out there and still they voted for the African National Congress. It's not like these problems are new. They're not new. All of these things that Lukhona is mentioning are not new. They have failed on every aspect. On every aspect. We've known since 2006, I think, that these guys are failures. We've known we've known for such a long time that these guys are failures. But we keep voting for them. We keep voting for them.
Economic inclusivity, and without doing those things, unfortunately then there will not be any form of development and people will wallow in poverty. And when you've got politicians who are spending more time trying to deal with the problem being the citizen rather than interrogating their tenure in government and asking the question as to how can they govern society better, you can be assured, Tammy, that there is very little that's going to shift insofar as the dial of service delivery and development is concerned.
And Lukhona, as you're speaking, I'm reminded of the issue of ESCOM, when the president said that we are all to blame, that it is our collective responsibility. So given that, it may not actually be just one man saying what he thinks, but it may very well be the stance and the new positioning of the party to say collectively let's take responsibility, therefore collectively let's build things together. On your parting shot.
But he's right. The president is right by saying it is our fault too. Because us as citizens, by failing to remove these guys from power, we ought to take some responsibility for that. We ought to take some responsibility for that. It can't be that every 5 years we vote for the African National Congress, but when the African National Congress fails to deliver, we only want to blame the ANC. No, we cannot only blame the ANC. We need to blame ourselves too. It is our fault too. I completely agree with Gwede Mantashe and I completely agree with President Ramaphosa. Because as citizens, we failed to see that these guys are failures. We failed to see that these guys, in that Fikile Mbalula's famous quote, they're a bunch of losers. We failed to see that. So we cannot come here and start blaming the African National Congress for everything that is wrong in our country, man. We need to start looking at South Africans and be like, South Africans, you guys have been voting for these guys throughout the years. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you, man? It doesn't matter what you say in South Africa right now. You can open up a new political party. You can open up an NGO, man, trying to show people that, guys, this is what's happening in our country right now. Here I am with my small Anyana platform trying to show people that, guys, this is what's happening in South Africa. But I can tell you, I can assure you that we are not doing enough. We are not doing enough. So that, it goes back to my statement earlier. What is it that you have done as an individual in this country? What is it that you have done? You cannot blame the African National Congress and leave the citizens out of it. We cannot. Going into 2024, man, we need to approach these matters, and we need to be honest about these matters. We cannot blame the African National Congress alone. The citizens of this country, man, they are responsible too. The citizens of this country, they are responsible too. I agree with Gwede Mantashe, and I agree with the president. When the president comes out and say that, I know that, guys, I have chosen incompetent fools to run our state-owned entities. I know that I have chosen Pravin Gordhan, who certainly knows nothing about what he's doing. Our state-owned entities are going down because Pravin Gordhan doesn't know what he's doing there. If the president comes out and says, I've hired Pravin Gordhan, I've hired Ramokgopa to be the Minister of Electricity, I've hired Gwede Mantashe to be the Minister of Mineral Resources, I've hired the incompetent Lindiwe Zulu to be the Minister of Social Development, and like, guys, it is our fault too, because we allowed this guy to do this thing. We allowed him. We allowed him. You remember, man, even like South Africans, man, when Ramaphosa came into power, man, we thought that, okay, right now we're gonna see a different cabinet. They were talking about dreaming the cabinet. They were talking about getting rid of all these deputies and the deputy ministers. Nothing happened. All of these guys that were ministers during Zuma's presidency are still ministers during Ramaphosa's presidency. And you want to say that that is only the fault of the African National Congress? No. As citizens, it's our fault too. It is our fault, man. It is our fault, guys. We cannot, man. We cannot continue like this. We cannot. This is the reason why I told South Africans that, guys, do not allow our media, man, to distract you, man. Do not allow politicians to distract you, man. We need to look at Orania, man. We need to look at what is it that Orania is doing. We need to take the same ideas and implement them in our townships. And people said that, no, there's nothing that we can learn from Orania, man. All of those guys in Orania are racist. So there's nothing that we can learn from racists. That's what people said. But it seems like the ANC, man, was listening to me, because now the ANC is like, guys, you can't even pick up your own trash. You can't find your own job, man. You are busy blaming me for not finding the job. You are blaming me for turning your own community into an illegal dumping site. It is your fault. As South Africans, man, it is our fault. And this is the reason why I told South Africans, man, we need to adopt whatever that Orania is doing in our communities. The day we do that is the day we stop voting for guys like Gwede Mantashe. Guys, please tell me what are your thoughts on the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button, and the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.